We are at Beau Monde Builders headquarters here in Rockledge, Florida. I've been in construction my entire adult life, pretty much, straight out of high school. I mean, I feel like it's accelerated me a whole year, you being here just 4 days. So.
By all intents and purposes, the American dream. You've been putting the hours in, putting the time in.
We're living it. We're living the American dream.
We're living it.
I would say, number one, invest in yourself, take time and find yourself a mentor, such as Marshall here, and spend the money, take your courses. You've been a big help for us. I mean, it took me 10 years to kind of realize that, to put the tool belt down and pick up the cell phone. Yeah, it's like having tools in your toolbox, right? They're just different tools that we're using now. So.
One of the biggest things I see is that somebody coming off the tools into a business is thinking about delivering the product, which they should be. But there's a whole other aspect of the risk management portion of the business that should be, in my opinion, the charger. We run jobs by the financials and the schedule, and we use data to make decisions rather than emotion. And the common thread on all projects that go south that I've seen in all my years of being in this business, from the womb to right now, is the customer or the client chose a contractor based on price and confidence. AJ, welcome. Good to see you, man.
Good morning, Marshall. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Great to see you again. So where are we?
We are at Beau Monde Builders headquarters here in Rockledge, Florida.
Excellent. Excellent. So I've been in bed with you for about a week. Today's Thursday, so almost a week. How's the experience been so far?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I mean, we've learned so much this week alone. I mean, I feel like it's accelerated me a whole year, you being here just 4 days. So.
Awesome. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to dig in with you and get into some systems and processes. So why don't you tell the audience exactly who you are and what you do?
Yeah, fantastic. Again, I'm AJ Hoover. I am the owner and CEO of Beau Monde Builders. We are a premier custom home builder right here in Rockledge, Florida.
Okay, and how long have you been in business?
I've been in business since the end of 2010. So.
Okay, and so it's just you? Do you have any partners?
No partners. I'm full owner here.
So you've been running this thing on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah, you built your staff up and you're
I have.
True entrepreneur.
I have, yes, sir.
How did you get into the construction business?
I've been in construction my entire adult life, pretty much, straight out of high school, picked up a tool belt and just went for it. So
amazing. And so one day you said, I'm going to get off the tools and I'm going to start my own business because I can do this myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. We need more people in the industry like you.
I agree. Yeah, get these young guys involved in the trades.
Yeah. So on that line of reasoning, contractors that are watching this right now, they may be stuck in a rut. They may be lost, looking for information, looking towards contractors like you saying, can you give me some information, some insight on how to get to your level with your beautiful office? You have full staff. You own this building.
Yes, sir.
So by all intents and purposes, the American dream. You've been putting the hours in, putting the time in.
We're living it. We're living the American dream.
We're living it. Okay, so is there any advice or insight you could impart on the people that might be watching, contractors that are looking for some info?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say, number one, invest in yourself, take time and find yourself a mentor, such as Marshall here, and, spend the money, take your courses. You've been a big help for us tremendously.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And I agree, because once you got off the tools and you started a business, you realized very quickly you'd become a businessman.
So not so very quickly for me. In fact, I mean, it took me 10 years to kind of realize that, to put the tool belt down and pick up the cell phone, so to transition from being on the tools to being a CEO, that's another big step that everybody's got to take. So I would say, again, find a mentor and help guide through that path, and it can be much easier for people.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. During the transition, moving out of the tools and running a business, you've learned a tremendous amount of lessons about business. And you learned about yourself, most importantly. And the better steward you are and the more information you have, the better you can run the company because you're the captain of the ship.
Yeah, it's like having tools in your toolbox, right? They're just different tools that we're using now. So standard operating procedures, technology, we use Builder Trend software as our project management, and you actually got us on Monday.com, which is going to track all of our finances and give us a crystal clear picture of each project, moving forward. So
that's right. Monday is great for creating dashboards with all of the pertinent information. So when you run meetings, you're very efficient. You can see the health of the job at one glance. So making the transition, being a business owner, I think one of the things that most contractors miss is that this is really a risk management game, less than a building game, so to speak, right? Because that has to be done, and we have to know our stuff there because this business is so dynamic. And I'll probably say that word 100 times during this interview. But the business is so dynamic because there's so many moving pieces, and we have to track so many different deliverables. But the byproduct of that is massive risk because there are so many moving pieces, right? And so I think one of the biggest things I see is that somebody coming off the tools into a business is thinking about delivering the product, which they should be. But there's a whole other aspect of the risk management portion of the business that should be, in my opinion, the charger. We run jobs by the financials and the schedule, and we use data to make decisions rather than emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. Data-driven decisions. You need people, so you need to hire the right people and put them in the right places. So you need your staff of project management, office staff, and I think you need, your legal side, your accounting side. So you need to put it all together. So
exactly. So we're in a business of labor and material, and our business is extremely human resource driven. We need people to grow. But that's the common denominator between all great businesses is people. There isn't a business that just has one guy and it's this fantastic business. Even if it is one person, you might see there's a whole team behind that person, right? So people are the key. Now, training your people and getting your people on that level and kind of raising their game, how important is that?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, if you don't do it, you're going to fail. So you need to put the right people in the right places to succeed.
In the beginning, I'm sure you've hired people and put people in a position, maybe let the line out a little bit too long and probably got burned. Does that happen to you?
I've tried and failed, and I had the wrong people in the wrong places for too long. And it took me a long time to realize that you have to let go. You have to let people go as well. Not just finding the right people, but you have to let the wrong people go.
That's right.
Yeah.
It takes a few tries. Yeah, because you think you found somebody, the interview was great, you think they're good, and then all of a sudden it's not as was advertised to you. And then at the same time, you feel bad. You don't want to let them go. You want to give them another chance. But every day that passes is money that's potentially being lost. Right?
Exactly. And we're running a business here, right? So, at the end of the day, we have to deliver a perfect product to the client, and we have to run a profitable business. So
that's right.
That's where we're at.
So we need knowledgeable people, definitely. And then the other thing I look at when I'm hiring a person is attitude. Because depending on the position, I could train you, put SOPs and checklists in place and make sure you follow our guidelines, our common core of ethics, our philosophy. But if you have a bad attitude, I can't train that. You can't. No. So I'm looking for attitude and I'm looking for competency. And when there's a deficiency in competency, the greater altitude and attitude, rather, is what, to me, is going to make a difference whether I'm going to give somebody a shot or not.
Yep, they're trainable.
Yeah, they're trainable. That's like the attitude is crucial. And unfortunately, in our business, we find people have pretty bad attitudes. Yeah.
Right. It kind of comes with the territory.
It kind of comes with the territory. Yeah. But let me ask you this. People coming into a business, this office is beautiful. The work that you do, I know is beautiful. You do very high-end custom building. So you hold yourself to a high level. Having your people know that there's a path to move forward and move up in the business, I think is crucial because nobody wants to work just to work hard. They want to work to prosper. They want to work to take care of their future and their family, and opening up an avenue to that in this business, I think is incredibly important because that's what happened to me. I had a fast track and a path. And because I knew that I had a path, I committed to what I was doing. Right. And so I think that's another thing that business owners forget, that sometimes you have to let people rise and give them an opportunity. And then the higher you are in the hierarchy, you find out very quickly that you're really more of a servant to your people, less than a king, right?
We're definitely servants. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're learning to show our team that growth, and like having you here for the week, it kind of shows them, where we're headed and what we're looking to get to. So
yeah, exactly. It shows that you care about the business, the systems, the functioning, organization, and then obviously because of that, will be more successful, and then they could take part of that success.
And be a part of it and be a part of the growth. I think that's going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah, because people love being on a winning team
Absolutely.
that's growing. You know, they don't necessarily want to be in something that is so established and has a massive hierarchy and that there's no way to move forward. And that's what I love about contracting in smaller contracting companies, because that team can grow with you.
Absolutely.
If they have the vision and the leader sets the pace, the fish rots at the head, right?
Yes, sir.
So I commend you for what you've done, having me out here for a week. Betancourt had me last week and going back out there again next week. That's a big thing, not just for the business, but for the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they get training too. Your people are in the meetings, and we're tightening everything up.
So,
And the morale raises, right?
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been with us.
So that's a testament to you, though, as an entrepreneur and as a captain of the ship, realizing I want to tighten things up and I want to show my people that I care about this business and organizing it for the success of all of us, right? And I think that message kind of falls on deaf ears, because what most contractors are thinking about is the money. It's very tight on money centric. And so they don't invest in themselves in the business as much as they should.
I think if you do the right thing, invest in yourself, invest in your business, you know, the money will come. If you're doing the right thing, the money will come. Take care of your clients, take care of your people, and the money will come.
So let me ask you this, you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. What do you think was one of the major keys that got you here, aside from constantly learning and expanding yourself as an executive? What do you think personality trait and particular system or process you may have learned over the 10 years of you being in business and the 3 years of us working together that you've relied on as a cornerstone?
I think consistency is one key thing that I've dialed into. You know, power hour every morning is one of the most consistent things in my life that I look forward to every day.
But along the lines of consistency, I agree. You know, power hours give me consistency in my life, because I don't necessarily have to wake up every morning and do that, quite honestly. Especially right when I left Eldor during that period. I could have traveled the world and done all sorts of stuff. But I knew that not having consistency, getting up at a certain time, knowing I had to deliver at 8 a.m. every day, that my sharpness was going to get dulled by ability. And I love getting after it. As you know, anybody's been on a call. That's a very powerful, fiery call one morning. So the consistency is truly key. I also want to say, from knowing you, your personality is very good. You got an awesome smile. You are very personable. I think the sales portion has helped you tremendously. Where there may have been a deficiency in organization and systems, you made up for it with the sales portion. I think you got a very bright future. I know tomorrow we have a meeting in West Palm. So we're moving into other markets, which is very important for us here. And one of the things I want the contractors that are watching this interview to take away is that the business can be as big or as small as you want it to be. So not everybody has a $100 million aspiration, but the avenue in the lane is open to do it. The work is there. You know, we have a diminishing workforce. Not many young Americans are getting into this business the way they used to. So that knife cuts both ways. There's a lot of opportunity for us because of that, because the demand is greater than ever. People are less willing to do things on their own than they were maybe in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. In 2023, nobody wants to do anything on their own. They need a contractor.
Absolutely.
But the downside of that is hard to find people. They're also paying for management.
Absolutely.
So the cheaper price is usually directly related with a guy whose desk is his dashboard, right? When you have project managers and you have a staff and you have a building, and you're holding your client's hand throughout the process and you're designing with them, that requires people. Your price is going to be totally different. And so with the Build a Trend software that you're using, you've really learned how to dial that in and use it as a portal for the customer to log in, see the schedule, and see what's going on in the project.
See the schedule, see the daily logs, communicate. It's basically a communication tool, right?
That's right.
I find that's the biggest challenge in our market is communicating. So
that's right. So the contractors that don't have software like that, because that's a massive value add, being transparent, having access to a schedule, communicating, and looking at everything that's related to the project, rather than just talking to the guy when we see him on site.
Schedules should drive them.
That's right. So there's going to be a price differential between the two. But people now are more sophisticated than they've ever been. They're more technologically savvy than they've ever been. And so offering a value like that, in my opinion, is tremendous.
Yeah, it's not a cost, it's more of an investment. So
That's right.
it's an investment into your profit. So
That's right. The more transparent we can be in this business, the better.
absolutely.
I truly believe that. You know, people are afraid of getting burned. They don't want to break down labor and material. When I ask them, can you please break down labor and material? I need it for workers' comp. I don't want to get the exposure just on the labor portion, not the material portion. And I don't want that adding in and being a factor. And then they go, well, what are you trying to backstab me, et cetera? There's a sophistication level that's needed, but there's a transparency level that it's okay to let people know what prices are, what it costs, and then what your portion is to deliver this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people are buying you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that you've done that very well here. And I've seen it with you and your customers. So I'm proud of you on that aspect. And you did that on your own and dialed that in. And I'm helping you dial in the internal systems and trackers so we know where we're at with profitability, and we're making it systematized so we can just roll it out globally. And obviously, when we onboard more people fall right into our system rather than spending the time training them and bringing them up to speed. So one of the things that customers need to know is that when you take on a project, especially a building project, there's so many moving pieces and unknown variables. There's only so much you know in the design phase, looking at a set of drawings and pricing them. But as I always say, once we get on site, the light gets bright. But that also works to their benefit as well. Because many times I say, once I get on site, the only malleability I have is on the labor portion, not the material portion, right? So once I get on site and I can see what we can pick up time vis-a-vis means and methods, I'm happy to credit that back to you. Yeah, right. That's doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
And they need to know that. So we have a limited view and video on how this project is actually going to unroll when we're looking at a set of drawings. But once we get on site, if we're ethical and we're honest, we can pick up time and then we can credit that back to the owner and give them the best value, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how you have lifelong customers.
Yeah, we have repeat customers coming back. So
That's great. Yeah, that's what you need. You need repeat customers, you need referrals, you need customers on more volume, and then you need to maintain your margins,
absolutely.
especially all value add.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need that, and we need to secure our margins by managing our risk and having the systems in place so we know that we're at like real time, know where we're at on the job so we can perform triage. And what's also very important for somebody who is a mid-size like you, who's scaling into other markets, is being able to know and do revenue forecasts based on draw schedules, payment milestones, and have all of that information organized so you can plan your money when you go get lines of credit and loans and payment performance bonds. If you move into the commercial market, you have a real understanding of the financials in your business. And the common thread on all projects that go south that I've seen in all my years being in this business, from the womb to right now, is the customer or the client chose a contractor based on price, not compensation. And the only thing that lives on a bid is scope and price and not compensation. So even more reason why we have to be able to advocate for ourselves and be a better salesperson to let the person know, our customer, that we have the ability to deliver this on time, on budget, and accurate, like you said. So I'm very happy with what you've been doing. I'm really excited for the future. And I appreciate your business, but also your friendship, knowing you for 3 years. And anything else you'd like to say?
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time.